This is Action Sports Jax First and 10 Training Camp. Sponsored by And the Jar and Levine, Accident Attorneys.
That's tough being a rookie. Kind of. Even though Trayvon Walker has already been paid millions, now he's paying his dues. The fellas with a little hazing filling up his car with those packing peanuts. Walker played along, but maybe he's going to take it out on somebody on the practice fields this weekend when they put the pads on for the first time. Everybody, first and 10. No downs, though. No football practice for the Jags today, but always news in the NFL. Hicken here. Jags making roster moves on their day off at a very important position, right? Kind of felt like after 2 bad weeks of kicking footballs, over at Episcopal, the Jags were going to do something about that kicking game. Well, today they did. They brought in 4. Signed 1. That one was Elliott Fry. He will battle Ryan Santoso for the job. Team thusly waived Andrew Mevis, who was struggling in camp. Now, as far as Fry, he's been on 8 different teams. He's kicked a little bit for 2 or 3 different teams in regular season NFL games, so a little bit more experience. You know, with the construction of the Performance Center on the old practice fields, the Jags' first week at Episcopal certainly brings about some challenges like, well, boarding buses to go to a practice field across the river. But not a big deal, according to the guys in charge.
Redid the sod, the irrigation, and added some power for some of the cool zone and some of the sections here, the media tent over there, but very, very minimal. The local welder put the goalposts together, so those are actually the old fuel goalposts from the old practice facilities. So we repurposed those.
All right, so good work there. They're beautiful fields. They're in great shape. Here's a look at the latest on the construction. The building will be fully operational for the franchise by next year. The Jags then will turn their attention to stadium renovations. Certainly have an interesting few years coming up off the field, downtown here in Jacksonville. Well, one weekend, Devin Lloyd on the sidelines indefinitely, right? He's got that hamstring. But other than that, most of the news is good on the injury front. Brett Martineau has more on the healthy Jaguars ball club. So far, so good.
Good news on James Robinson. Travis Etienne, we already know, is all set, ready to go, and he's looked good since the spring, quite frankly. I think there's some positive news on the Agnews and Darius Williams of the world with their injuries and when they get back. So really the only whoa, no, Devin Lloyd, we all want to see him play. Well, I think we're going to have to take our time with that. Keep in mind, they only have 2 padded practices before they play in the Pro Football Hall of Fame game. In the Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio, which also tells you, guess what? The frontline guys ain't playing, which we know anyway. They're not going to play in that game. There's a 2-game preseason for the frontline guys, I would think, and that's both home games here against Cleveland and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't see those guys playing much against the Atlanta Falcons either.
And they won't play a lot in those 2 preseason games, I don't think, either. So we got all kinds of Twitter information for you. Brent does, the Action Sports Jax team does. So lots of places for you to follow to stay up to date with the Jaguars because you're not allowed to attend the practices this year. All right, still to come, a look around the NFL and the college season starting a little bit early in Tallahassee. We'll check in on Norvell and the Noles next on First and 10. And yeah, that's Marcel Robinson, always styling and profiling with the sock wear. Not bad at all, Marcel. Not bad at all.
Now, it's the best local sports show in Jacksonville. This is Action Sports Jax, powered by Safe Touch Security.
Training camps getting started around the league, including up in Indy, where there's a busy weekend on tap. NASCAR and IndyCar both hitting the Brickyard this weekend. And how about the Daytona 500 chap, Austin Cindric, taking some time to stop by Colts practice. Still a little weird seeing Matt Ryan in a uniform other than the Falcons, the team that drafted him way back in 2008. That's the way the NFL goes, and all the Jags will need to get used to as they'll face him twice a year moving forward. Speaking of quarterbacks with new environments, will it be Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield to lead the way in Carolina? Maybe Matt Corral. A big storyline to watch for the Panthers in training camp. 2 quarterbacks go head-to-head for that starting position. I tend to lean towards Baker Mayfield, who has much better stats than Sam Darnold. Baker Mayfield played hurt last year. I could see him bouncing back decently for Carolina. Matt Rule needs somebody to step up and play well at the quarterback position if he is going to keep his job going forward, or Carolina will be in the market for a quarterback next year in the draft. No quarterback competition in Foxborough as the Patriots have to be pleased with the performance from Bowles grad Mac Jones under center his rookie season. Still a 10-7 record, first-round playoff exit. That ain't enough to satisfy those fans in New England, right? They grew used to playing much deeper into January, February over the past couple decades. For Jones, plenty to improve on going into year 2.
I'm just trying to learn how to hit every throw in different ways. And then obviously you have to apply that during the season. So the offseason's great, but you want to take what you learned and apply it, and being able to use it in games is the reason you do it. That's the reason you work hard. And I know a lot of guys on our team have worked really hard, and just seeing that, us growing together is going to be good, but, we have a long way to go, and today's just a start.
Jags were one of the first NFL teams to open up camp down I-10 West. The same goes for Florida State, hitting the practice field early in 2022.
30 seconds!
That's because the Noles are less than a month away from their season opener a week earlier than normal against Duquesne inside Doak Campbell Stadium. For Florida State, starting fast, big, man. They started with 4 straight losses last year, including that loss against Jacksonville State. So head coach Mike Norvell happy with how the team has started this year. We talked about the schedule, and it's, important. They'll open up against Duquesne, then they play LSU, then they go to Louisville, and they play, by the way, on 3 different days during the 3 different weeks. Still ahead, a look at the next few days for the Jaguars and what they need to accomplish before hopping on a plane and heading to Canton.
Now, it's the best local sports show in Jacksonville. This is Action Sports Jacks, powered by Safe Touch Security.
After today's day off, it'll be right back to work tomorrow morning for the Jags as they resume training camp. And then on Sunday, a highly anticipated day for the big guys up front and anyone else who enjoys the physical side of the game. The pads go on for the first time. That means more one-on-one matchups, a little more excitement as players fight, hopefully not literally, for those roster spots. Best place to stay up to date. The only station that does 30 minutes every Saturday and Sunday all season long. We call it Action Sports Jacks Prime Time. Appreciate you hanging out with us on this day. That's it for our day off edition of First and 10. Leave you with the weight limitations being severely tested on those kids' bikes up in Green Bay. Have a great weekend.